From my side, welcome to this webinar on blocks and block references. As we go through the presentation, I'm going to explain a couple of things regarding block references, where it can be useful and how it can be used. Let's first of all start using an elevation. On this elevation that we see in front of us, we basically have a window inserted as a symbol and an elevation with some hatches on there. So if I go to the symbol, you will see the symbol is simply just normal lines. If I select the whole symbol, the whole window symbol, you will see that it consists of 28 objects. If I take that, select it, and from the context sensitive menu choose to make a block, I can give that block a name. Let's call it window 1. Pick an origin where I'm going to use an origin top center, and it's going to replace the original objects with the block that I'm creating. So for now, once I click on OK, you will see the command line says a block is created, and if I select that window, you will see it now is selected as a single object. If I should now go and take that block that I've created and copy it from the top center and I place it in my elevation, you will see it's placed right through exactly the same. But as you can see from this, there is some hatch behind the window which I want to hide, which I can do by using opaques. So just to show you the power of blocks, I'm going to select that block reference and edit the block, which means that block basically becomes active. In other words, normal lines again. If I now go to my advanced objects and I create an opaque, in this case I'm just going to do it manually. Once I click on option N, the opaque is created. But as you can see, the opaque is in front or on top of those lines forming or creating the window. If I should now select that opaque, I can use the context sensitive menu once again to move the opaque to the back plane. And that is exactly what we've got. We now have a window symbol with an opaque behind it. So if I zoom out a bit, ending the edit of that block, you will see that all the block references automatically now updated and displaying the changes that I have made. So that is how you can create a block. Take any existing objects that you've drawn, from the context sensitive menu make it a block, and then copy that block reference throughout the drawing wherever you need it. The other way that you can use blocks or insert blocks is by using the normal command called insert symbol. Once I insert a symbol, let's say I take the ND52, you will see on the dialog box, the bottom left hand corner, I can choose to either insert that as a symbol or as a block. So if I choose the block option over there and I click on OK, those symbols are automatically put and placed into my drawing as blocks. So I don't need to convert them into blocks. They are already blocks. And just to confirm that, I'm going to select that one block reference, edit the block. So I'm going to change its color to, let's say, yellow. I'm going to change those two lines over there to be gray and to be dashed. Okay. So if I now once again say end edit block, although those block references will automatically update as well. So now we've inserted any symbol as a block just by choosing the option on the insert symbol dialog box. Another way that you can insert a block is by using what we call a component manager. The component manager can be accessed if you click on view at the top, and then at the bottom there's an option component manager. Mine is already loaded. On the left over here it's just set to be hidden. Now what a component manager is, it's a tree structure where I can go and I can browse to my program data Caddie folder. In my Caddie folder there's a folder called block libraries, and under there I will, for instance, find something called gardening trees. If I click on the blocks under gardening trees, you will see all the blocks that can be loaded from the component manager. So I go to the one that I want to load. Let's say I want to load 51, that one over there. To load it, all I do is double click on the component manager and then just bring it into my window drawing area wherever I want it. Also, selecting that window using context sensitive menu, I can also change the scale of that. So I can make the X scale factor 1.5, the Y scale factor 1.5, and you will see the tree changes accordingly in my model space. The tree is currently in front of my building, so once again, if I select the tree or the block itself in this case, I can go to layering and display and move that tree to the back plane, and that's what it has done. Another option that we can do with block references is the ability to clip them. So under our advanced objects options, we've got clip blocks or reference symbol command, where I can define a clipping boundary. The command line will say indicate the block reference, so I click on the block reference, and then when it says indicate the clipping boundary, I normally indicate the area that I want to keep. So in this case, I'm just going to snap to my existing drawing, going around all the way to the bottom, all the way there, and let's just say freehand around the area that I want to keep. Once I say option end, you will see that block is now actually clipped as if it was hidden behind the elevation. You can turn that clipping boundary on and off. Once again, going back to your clip blocks reference symbol command, there's an option where I can switch the clipping off, which will then show you the complete tree again, and I can switch the clipping back on at a later stage if I want to do so. So that is a nice and useful way of using the component manager along with clipping blocks and or block references. If I go back over to this site plan over here, you will see that on the site plan what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these trees that we've got all over, which were inserted as blocks, and I'm going to do a couple of things with them. On the left hand side I've got a legend. So the legend shows me a couple of trees. What I want to do is I've created another tree over here, which is normal arcs and lines, hatching, including hatching, which I'm going to create as a block. These over here are also blocks, so if I create this one over here as a block, so let's say make block, let's call it tree 1, give it an origin in the center, and then replace the original objects the same as before, but now I'm going to add a description of evergreen. Once I click on OK, the block is now created. The reason I want to do this is I want to show you how you can replace blocks. Under your block commands, there's an option where you can replace blocks. So I can say replace, and I can pick on that one. You can also choose from a drop down list which one you want to replace, and then replace it with which one. As I want to do, I want to replace it with that tree 1 that I've just created that has a description of evergreen. On the left hand side, what do you want to replace? If I set all, it will replace all the blocks. In this case I'm going to choose a polygon area that I want to replace the blocks. Once I click on OK, I can now draw a polygon around a specific area where I want the blocks to be replaced. Once I say option end, you will see the blocks are now replaced with the one that I've created. So that is very useful in terms of objects that are duplicated, where you want to change it or replace it with something else. Replace block works very nicely in that sense. Another thing that we want to do is we might want to go and schedule all the blocks in our drawing. So once I've got all these blocks in my drawing, we can have a look at the command called schedule blocks. Schedule blocks gives you once again a selection where you can choose which area or what blocks you want to schedule. In this case, I'm going to use the scope. Once again, you can choose single blocks that you want to be scheduled, or you can just schedule all of them. You can choose the layers on of the blocks that you want to schedule. The schedule is obviously going to create a table, so you can add your table descriptions or headings in there, and then the size of your table you can add in there as well. Once I click on OK, Caddie will ask me pick top left point for the table, so where do you want the table to be placed. If I click over here in my drawing, it creates a table, and if I zoom in, you will see it gives you a table where the first column shows you a symbol, how that particular block looks. Second column, the name of the block itself. The third column, the description. So when you created the block, the description that you added can be seen in the description column. And then on the right hand side, it gives you a count of how many of each block there is. So once again, very useful, and all of this can only be done if you have used blocks. So to recap, in what instances will blocks be used and where will it be useful? It is especially useful if you've got objects that are duplicated within drawings. So before you copy something which will be duplicated in a drawing, you first make it a block, and then the block reference you can copy any number of times that you want to. First of all, it reduces your drawing size, it speeds up the performance of your drawing and the memory usage. And secondly, it gives you the ability to be able to globally edit them. So instead of changing multiple objects, you can only go to one of those block references and change it. And as soon as you say end edit block, all the relevant references will automatically update. So it saves you a huge amount of time. Then also, once you've got the blocks in your drawing, you can then go and replace the block. So you can replace one block with another block. You can schedule them, count them, see how many there are of each and every one. And all of that put together just makes working with blocks just so much more productive than when you would have used the normal conventional insert symbol or just normal line or drawing entities. And that then concludes from my side the presentation of this blocks and block reference webinar.